Hi all, it's Brigitta here, and today I am actually being joined by Louise Rhodes, who is also a light language healer, and she deals with a lot of attachments as well. And she is my go-to healer if I need to go into the repair shop. So I'll let Louise introduce herself.
Hi, yes, I've been doing the light language since about 2019. I I started originally like a lot of people with Reiki, turned all my hobbies into jobs following redundancy back in 2011, and it led me on a spiritual journey. I remember getting my redundancy letter on my 40th birthday, and I'm thinking, oh, well, life begins at 40, having absolutely no idea where life was going to take me. And as I say, I just turned all my hobbies into jobs, including gardening, selling hippie clothing at festivals and mind, body, spirit fairs. And that led me into the Reiki, met people at the mind, body, spirit
Mm.
fairs that did energy healing. And as soon as I discovered that, I mean, my mom was a medium anyway, so I was familiar with obviously the healing and mediumship, how things were done in the 70s and 80s. But I'd stayed away from that. Sort of, I was in science for most of my life. Um, but yes, went to the mind, body, spirit fairs. Started with Reiki. Started having past life memories, past life flashbacks happening
Mm.
spontaneously when I was talking to people. So I went down the regression therapy route.
Yep.
And then I met Janet Trelaw, who's a direct channel, and went on her courses and discovered light language. And kind of the rest is history. I kind of combine regression ideas with light language. Found out I can easily go into people's timelines. So now I get taken into people's timelines, into their story, be it current life or other dimensions, other lives, other experiences, and
Yep.
I see it and witness it and feel it in my body and send healing, and then use the sound and the vibration with the light language to encourage movement and encourage flow, and yeah, the healing, as you say.
Yeah, it's powerful healing light language.
It
Because
is.
because I started, I think 2 years ago it came to me, but I was really trying to, I was trying and I was like, oh, it was so stuck in me until like with Siobhan Purcell, she just kicked me off that cliff and it just started to flow and I haven't looked back since.
No, it's an amazing modality. It really is. It's amazing because I see soul, light language as kind of language of the soul,
It is.
and it's mainly it's mainly aspects of me that I connect to, from different dimensions,
Yeah.
different realities, and I communicate with them, well, almost constantly.
Yeah.
Uh, just become a big part of my world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how do people see you?
Oh, how do they see it? How do they find me?
How do they see you?
How do they see me? I'm not really too sure. That's a very good question. I should be asking you that one. How do you see me?
Oh, no, I think you're phenomenal. I think you're amazing.
Oh,
I do. I do. But I mean, how do you, when people say, well, I don't believe in light language, what is your response to that?
um, I've been really, really lucky actually that I don't get too much criticism about it at all, which
Mm.
I'm really, really shocked. I mean, even my family, I was nervous of telling them, but
Yeah.
I went up to my father's, it was about 2 Christmases ago, and I work as an emergency service, and I'll connect if I'm able, I'll connect at any time. And had someone ask me for a session, and I can't remember if it was Christmas morning. It probably wasn't, but it was around that time. My dad was sitting in the breakfast room, which is like a conservatory, sort of an add-on to where I was working. I was in what they call the dining room, And I thought I'd locked myself away and no one would hear me. But the window was open into the conservatory and my dad could hear everything. And it's the first time we'd heard the light language. And I went into sort of where he was and he said, "Was that you making those strange noises?" I just, "Yep." And he just said, "You're weird," and
Yes.
giggled. And there wasn't a lot of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he accepts it, and we don't really talk too much about it. My auntie has admitted that the whole family talk about me behind my back, and she says it's fascinating. She's brave enough to actually talk to me about it. But most of my family just kind of like, just avoid avoid the conversation and just don't really talk about it. Oh yeah, my dad, he sort of, because I do charge for the session, so I sort of comment about how much I charge and how many clients I have, and he'll make comments like, "Oh, well, you're not a quack then."
Ah,
But so yeah, that's pretty much it. But everybody else, I suppose they look at me a little bit inquisitively sometimes. Most people are really open to it.
yeah.
Yeah. And they find it fascinating. They might look at you a bit, sort of, it's a little bit shocked, but most people are kind of inquisitive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have both sides of the coin. A lot of people think me woo woo. I've been told that many times, and that's fine. I just say I'm just quirky, I'm just different, but why would I be anyone else?
Yeah.
Why would I fit in the norm of a 3D, the matrix, if you like to call it, where I feel so uncomfortable? And no, I'd rather be doing this work and just being true to who I am. And I also started with Reiki like you, but there's a big difference between Reiki and light language healing.
Oh, huge difference.
What
Yeah.
would you say the difference is?
Um, mm, I never really resonated with Reiki, to be honest. I never resonated with the symbols. I never
Yeah,
thought they were necessary in my energy. I am, in theory, a Reiki master, and I did all the training, and
yeah,
it was great as something to get you started. But
yes,
actually, I felt very much, and certainly been aware in the last couple of years, that the Reiki symbols actually felt like they blocked the flow of my energy. And actually, I've sort of set the intention in sort of healing sessions with myself to actually remove the symbols from my energy and just allow a better flow. Because I feel the light language is just direct connection to source, direct
yep,
connection to your aspects of self, because we're multi-dimensional, multi-locational. There's lives just happening here, there, and everywhere. And you just have a direct link to aspects of you that are angelic, aspects of you that are galactic. So it's like, why put your trust in something that's outside of you? There's there's no point. I don't call in the archangels anymore. I just thought I've got aspects that are angelic. So I go straight to them.
yeah,
And
makes sense.
yeah.
And yeah, with Reiki, would you call it? I see Reiki for me was a great start, but it didn't do anything for me after that, even though I taught it. I mean, I think light language just speaks directly to the soul. It's
Yes, good way of
and
putting it.
and it gets to the in ways it does get to the root cause of the problem,
Yeah.
and it eradicates it. Whereas with any spiritual healing, and I'm not going to knock it at all,
No.
um, because everyone is on their own journey, but I feel it's more like a band-aid. And
Okay. Yes. Yeah.
that's what I've always felt, because we fall back into our old programming not long after we've had the healing. And not only that, but I think with healing, any kind of healing, is becoming aware of what the issue is
Yeah.
and then tackling it to, to heal it.
Yeah, yeah. You can still with the Reiki sort of, I mean, sorry, with
Yeah.
the light language fall back into the old traps, but at least, well, certainly the way I work, I say, because I go into snippets of the story, not
Yes.
like regression where I see the whole details. It just go direct into the trauma, and it's almost
Yeah.
like cracking it open.
Yeah, it is. And I do remember when I first came to you, I had issues, with my back. Not that I don't always have it, but it's a lot better. But also with my leg. And I mean,
Yeah,
with my leg, that was just gone. It was just gone after the healing session. The next day it was fine.
yeah, yeah. And there can be miracle cures, especially if there's attachments there that need
Yes.
releasing, things that shouldn't be in your energy field. And as soon as they're gone, yeah, the healing can come in. Um,
So let me ask you something about attachments, because people are
okay.
always like, well, what are attachments? And how can we have attachments, attached to us? That's not possible. We cannot have dark energies, but we can. There's
We
so much
can.
more between heaven and earth, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still sort of coming to sort of grips with understanding a lot of it myself, to be honest. But how I see it is there's lots of different types of attachments. So it can be souls that don't have a body anymore, died, not
Mhm.
gone to the light, and then attached in your energy field. A lot of them, it's like attracts like. So if there's people, for want of a better word, that
Yep.
have died, not got a body, and if they're alcoholics or drug addicts, they'll be looking for another alcoholic or drug addict or another gambler or something. And it's by resonance they kind of hook into your energy. And how I work is opening up a transit portal, a gateway to
Yep.
source, and literally encourage their movement and encourage them on and out of your energy, the person's energy field. Yeah.
And how do they feel after that once it's been removed?
Oh, a lot clearer. Yeah, there
Yeah.
can be the miracle cures with energy clearance. Not all of them are human, because I say we're
No.
all multi-dimensional. So, and say dark energy, it can be witchcraft. A big aspect of my work is clearing magic
Mhm.
in all forms. Your witchcraft, voodoo. It really doesn't matter what name you call it. People kind of think that isn't real, but because a lot of people in the West, um, sadly, it is becoming more prevalent because it's more widely the information's more widely spread in on access to the internet.
Yep.
Um, but a lot of cultures have always believed in it.
Another question though, because I know a lot of people won't understand it. I understand it, but when you talk about multidimensional beings, or not well, let me rephrase that. When you talk about us being multidimensional beings, what do you mean? Because a lot of people don't understand that concept.
Um, I believe our souls are infinite. The whole universe. I'm still getting to yeah. I've just come across the freedom teachings, which I'm ploughing my way through knowledge about that.
Mhm.
And that sort of understanding that comes from it's what would have been originally written in the Bible, but it's just the expanse of the universe and sort of more about God, and how God exists, but how we're all connected to God. We are all God. We are the face
Yes.
of God. But the fact that the types of creatures, it's not just us. It's yeah, as you say, your galactic beings, your nature spirits, so your elementals and the earth. And just because we can't necessarily see them, it's just that different wavelengths and different frequencies that they're resonating at. So most people won't be able to see the different forms that are there, but we're all connected and we've all had these experiences. Um, I believe sort of kind of the human race originated possibly Lyra, and which is galactic.
Yes.
You'll
That's
know more that you I'm sure you know more about that as well. You sort of got more
I know
details
about the
about your life.
Lyrans. It's
Yeah, yeah.
interesting you mentioned the Lyrans because the Lyrans were very, very peaceful before they became warriors. Because the Dracos, the reptilians, they nuked places. And then, of course, you had the Anunnaki coming to Earth. I mean, the whole galactic, the universe was a mess. And um, And people say, yeah, but how was mankind created? What's your theory? What is your theory?
How was mankind created? I believe created from God. I remember, God and source, kind of the spark of, it's like, yeah, wanting to kind of experiment and wanting to learn, and sort of was created as
Yeah.
part of God.
Oh, absolutely. I think still the Anunnaki had something to do with it, but not just the Anunnaki. You have the Pleiadians, the Syrians, they all experimented. And of course, we had the prehistoric man, not the ape man, the prehistoric man. And they tinkered with the DNA, and that's why we are such an eclectic bag of people around the world. It's all different strands of DNA, which I find amazing.
Yeah,
But I mean, it's not like I always say this: we were created by creators, who in turn were created by creator, and thus we are in our own right creators, creating and experiencing life.
sounds good to me.
Mhm.
That does sound good. When you're talking about DNA, I feel that's part of the light language as well, sort of
Yes.
actually activating dormant aspects of our DNA that have been shut down, because obviously we've been forced into sort of memory loss and not remembering who we are, not remembering the connection to God, not remembering that connection to each other and all things. And part of what the light language does is help encourage that sort of activation of this dormant DNA and opening up the remembering and the remembering of self.
Yeah.
Um, and that's what I feel is kind of a very important aspect of the light language work.
So, shall we get into doing some light language?
Yes. Yeah, why
Yes.
not? I'd love to.
So I know we discussed a couple of themes, but what shall we start with? Shall we start with forgiveness? Forgiveness?
Yeah, do you want me to actually shall I see what, if I can bring through some light language that's
Yes.
associated with forgiveness? And just see
Yes.
if any words come through. I'm not sure, because what happens with me, sorry, just looking
Okay.
my computer there. How I tend to work is obviously got that direct connection to source, but including aspects of myself. Most relevant guides will communicate through the light language. You'll hear the sounding, the tones and the whistles, but
Yeah.
then I get a knowing. It's kind of like a telepathic knowing of any information that wants to be presented, to be honest, from aspects. Right, I'll do some light language.
Shall we swap it up? You start and then I
Okay.
go.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine. I'll do some first. Obviously, you can see the hand
Got my
movement
rose quartz.
already. Yeah, I love my crystals as well. Sort of, I never got. I said there's none in particular that were working, but all of them. I said, bringing you courage for you all to communicate with the different aspects of self, and that includes the ones that have been in fear. And behind that, we can bring in the forgiveness. I said you can all speak quite fluently in your own form of light language once the keys have been presented. And then when that happens, the light can shine on your world. And numerous teachers will be presented to support your transition into freedom, into grace, into love, into faith. Yeah, freedom. Freedom in all its words. I'm finding your truth and, of course, forgiveness. And that's all that, yeah, I want to bring through for that section.
Okay. All right, so I will do the same, and I'm just going to hold on to this. I actually do love the rose quartz energy. Ever since you mentioned it last week, it's like
Yes.
it's that self-love, it's absorbing absorbing the rose quartz, and often I find myself just floating in a bubble of just pink.
Yeah, and it's nice you've got the pink top on as well,
Oh
because
yeah, I do.
yeah,
I didn't even
we
realize
can.
that.
Yeah, and it does. Why not? It reminds you of that energy
Yep.
of something you hold in your heart, like the rose quartz.
Tosalu kamu ini salu kiti amu shia makato susi e tui niki awa a. Halo itiki amasu ki amoloki a. Tokitasi amole lele kane mi sio e wa tui mi awa a. And they're just saying, just to allow this to flow through you like the gentle waters in a stream. Eh? Susikataya wala suku uni aloa kita. Poshini wala kata muisi waha. Ma kuyatai misiki titatata maluki yamayawa a. Maya oisi. Why hold on to things when you can just as easily let go? Hasiki yama sututu aisi yama layo iki yama uu niwisi yama a. It does not serve you to keep holding on to things. Okiyama tokotai similawa ini sikui miyawa a nui sikayawa a. It is merely what you keep in your mind. And it's learning sakatai ni sikui miyawa ka to empty your mind like a trash can. Sokia sakayama haniki si walakai ni sikiyama a. Masi masi mikia malakato mktasiki makapnuku yasiki o does it serve you or does it not serve you? Kani kisi yamahani wiki yama ushini maka upaniki yasa mohio aluku i makatu masuki yamahani wiki i masuki yabahu and just learn to return to that beautiful love and light of self. Suki anuki nue sa lue de ki awa kuki kanu misiu hini mi kitaya makatasa katay miki anukuini wa thank you.
Thank you. That's lovely.
Yeah, so I hope this has helped you. Are there any final words you would like to add to that, Louise?
I just heard the words in my head. Learn to take control. You are magnificent. And I don't know who that's relevant for. Guess it can be for all of us.
Yes, yes, because we often give our power away. We do that all the time.
True.
And I will say one thing, and especially with us healers, people like you extend a hand and then they take the whole arm.
Yes, yeah. And you have got to be very careful with boundaries.
Yes.
And yeah, and it can be tricky because, of course, many of us as healers we are givers, natural givers, and we
Yeah.
want to give, but you've got to be careful not to give all your energy away and put up your own protection and ground, stabilize, whatever techniques are relevant for you. I use techniques sort of known as the Maharic seal, but there's lots of different techniques out there for sort of stabilizing your energy.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, I'm gonna thank you.
You're very welcome. It's been lovely.
Yes, it has. So thank you so much for this light language transmission. Where can people find you?
I'm on Facebook under Louise Rhodes. I don't think people will be able to see my email, louise.rhodes8@gmail.com. It's actually written on this link here in very small letters. You probably won't be able to see it. But anyway, louise.rhodes8@gmail.com. Or I have got a website, which is louiserhodes.co.uk.
Thank you so much for being here,
Finally.
Louise.
You're very welcome.